Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Botswana. We are in Division 3 today with our casting matchup. My name is Atomo, and I'm joined as always by my co-caster Calamity. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, Botswana. Man, we've got some really interesting countries. They just keep coming at us, right? We had Iceland last week. Now Botswana, the craziness of Africa. And yeah, just that's all I really want to say. Before that, let's get a look at our actual players here between Hugo and RadoX. Both of them have been relegation fighters for almost their entire career in Reddit League. And in this season, at least RadoX is doing a bit of a job trying to avoid that. Hugo down in there in the bottom of Division 3, Calamity.
Yeah, the problem for RadoX is that his two wins came in the first 2 weeks, so he's kind of been in a bit of a downward spiral, and he sort of needs to get back to winning. Otherwise, he's going to find himself in that relegation fight again pretty quickly. And for Hugo, yeah, not really going too well. So far this season, he's also like last season, he had been putting up good scores, but just being a bit unlucky. This season, some of his scores weren't even that good either, and I think he got his one win against Ferret, who left the league because he didn't have time anymore. So both not actually in a fantastic position right now, and definitely both could really use this win.
Yeah, definitely. Could use that. I know Hugo's been struggling with a little bit of motivation after some really like unfortunate results that kind of goes against him, and then he loses motivation and it makes it hard to put up a good performance in another week, and so the scores aren't that great, and it kind of just a really bad feedback loop. So we're going to look and see if Botswana can turn things around for him, and see if RadoX can stop his slide of 2 losses in a row. But it's going to be a hard one to do it in, Calamity. Botswana. Um, it might be the easiest map you've ever played, and it might be the hardest map you've ever played, depending on the location, right?
Usually it's not the easiest map you've ever played. We've got other maps for that. But yeah, some seeds can be quite easy, especially if you've practiced a bit. But I guess that's the way with most countries, except for some of the more notorious countries like, I don't know, Indonesia or the Philippines, where you're probably not going to get an easy, well, you get an easy seed, but no seed is going to be very easy. Botswana in general actually is quite similar to Iceland in the way that most of the time you're just on a pretty long straight road that may have some curves to help you with pinpointing, but no other features of note. And you're just gonna try to click fast and go far, and maybe you'll find a sign, and maybe you won't, and then you're just gonna guess.
Yeah, pretty much. If you see some nice signs, not too bad, but if you don't, it's gonna pretty much become a click fest trying to see how fast you can travel in the limited time. So we're definitely gonna see this come into play maybe in the higher divisions more than in this one in Division 3 here. They do have 4 minutes, so not too bad for them. They probably can find things for that. With that one, yeah, our map Botswana by mapper average score of only about 9,748 points. Of course, that's been now bumped up with all the practice our players have put in. This might have one of the fewest locations of any map we've played, Calamity, so far, just making the threshold.
Yeah, 500 plus is about the lowest you can go really before it becomes so little that anyone who just practices and plays like 20, 30 games will encounter lots and lots of repeats. So we generally don't go below 500. And the thing with Botswana is that it's not got a massive amount of coverage, and quite a lot of it, if you just go in terms of length, is just on the same roads. So it doesn't matter too much that the locations aren't like, that the number of locations isn't massive. But of course, if you practice long enough, you're always going to end up with repeats. Like even a diverse world with like 70,000 locations or something like that still has repeats for people here and there. So it's always going to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, it hasn't been played too many times, so hopefully after watching this, you'll decide that you want to take on the challenge of Botswana yourself, as you can see what our players can do. And we'll see, yeah, let's see what they can do as we jump into round number 1 here. And we've got a new little feature, a new compass on the top of the screen for you all. So we've got 2 of them. I don't know why, but new addition.
Yeah, don't like it, but as long as the old one's there, I don't care too much.
And some national park signs.
Yep. Welcome to Sankuyo Trust Wildlife Managed Area, which, as Hugo found it there relatively quickly.
Yeah, and that Y intersection right there is going to be very nice.
RadoX also finding a sign towards Maun, which is one of the more recognizable cities in Botswana.
Keeps looking at that sign. He knows it's somewhere in the north. There we go. Keep honing in on that. I think if he goes up north just a little bit further, he will see the same sign that Hugo has, but he hasn't quite moved yet.
Yeah, there's a little checkpoint there, which has some roads going off of it. Roads is something you can never really trust in Botswana, especially roads that go off of the main road, because they might be there, they might not be there. And I can already tell you, as is the case with this checkpoint, it's got two roads going off, one road going to the west, one road going to the east. The road going to the east is there, the road going to the west is not there. Why? I have no idea. Because it's Botswana.
Yep, it's Botswana. Come on, Google. Get with it. But in the meantime, Hugo has been checking out that Y intersection, pretty confident at where he is. But not confident enough to drop the pin yet. RadoX definitely a little bit too far north.
Well, he isn't right at the intersection. That's not where he started.
Yeah, exactly. So he needs to work his way back for that one.
He's just making sure that the road direction really matches up. He's making sure for a long time, definitely, but he's got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Better spend a minute making sure you're in the right area and then losing out a bit of time on pinpointing rather than, spending 10 seconds to make sure you're right and then being wrong about it.
Exactly, especially in Botswana. It's a rather large country, so if you're on the wrong side of the country, you can get some pretty abysmal scores. So hopefully we won't see too many of those.
You can get some pretty abysmal scores even if you're on the right side of the country.
That is true. Yep. Yeah, RadoX is definitely taking the approach of, I think I know where we are. I'm not going to travel too far and just spend a lot of time pinpointing, but...
And he's wrong with where he is.
Yeah, exactly. Hugo's got a much better read on where the location is because he's actually traveled. And now, with only 45 seconds left, RadoX will head on off. Things.
Take him another 3 or 4 seconds to get to the turn off, and then let's see. RadoX pinpointing. What is he gonna do? He's just gonna ignore it. All right. Well. The worst thing is there are some locations or some places that could maybe be this. There are a few places where the road kind of turns off in a similar sense.
Down to the last few seconds. Yeah, now RadoX is having that problem, Calamity. There's a couple different Ys. I don't know where I am. And he will find out that it'll cost him about 1,000 points. Hugo not able to quite pinpoint the location. I don't really blame him given the long, straight nature of it. 4,994 for him, but only 4,097 for RadoX. So... yeah, a very interesting, not too difficult round, but just really kind of RadoX getting caught in the weeds there.
Yeah, RadoX spent a lot of time doing I don't know what, which is often the case with RadoX, where I'm looking at his gameplay and I'm like, you spent a lot of time there with very little results. In this case, I don't know, like, the things he did... or the location where he placed his pin made some sense. He found the sign that says Sankuyo Wildlife Trust, and he placed himself in the town of Sankuyo. But then he just, I don't know, he didn't really do much with any of the other information he found. I don't know, did he ever find that sign Hugo was looking at?
No, I don't think he ever got to it. He continually went south and slightly traveled north, but it wasn't able to actually see it, and he turned around again, so... I
Yeah.
think
Another thing is,
you get that idea where you're so confident I've got to be in this range that you kind of ignore information that would tell you no, this isn't quite right. And that might have been what we just
yeah,
kind of saw there from RadoX, who just said, you know what, this is good enough. I don't need to travel, but he wasn't actually good enough, unfortunately. So
yeah. The thing he's had there was he kind of decided more or less between which information do I trust and which do I not trust, and he trusted in the sign saying Sankuyo Wildlife and just assumed it meant Sankuyo's town there. But he did travel definitely far enough south so that he could have realized the road direction doesn't match up there because there is no town there.
yeah.
So in that sense, a bit of a mistake there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the end, lost 1,000 points there. And it's no use thinking about where you lost your points at that point. Just got to get more points in the next few rounds.
Exactly. So let's get into round number 2 and see if he can't do any better here. And at least we're in some sort of a town and right next to a nice little intersection.
Yeah, this we can always sort of from now on do like which was the easiest round of the week. This is our first entry into this category.
Yeah.
RadoX already there saw a sign that actually told him he's in Little King, but he just ignored it. Hugo, I think, is looking at the same sign from the other side.
Mm-hmm. And there's a whole slew of town names for you. And yeah, I think Hugo's already dropped his pin on a pretty much the right location, a roundabout to their east. Will confirm. And yeah, doing quite well in Botswana to start us off here.
Yeah, I wonder where RadoX is looking. I mean, out of those cities on the sign, I mean, Kang is the most recognizable one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know many of the others, but yeah, you can also see Takatokwane up there, and I don't know why he's looking where he's looking.
Yeah, I mean, all those towns are right there along the road in the middle, right underneath his mouse, like literally underneath his mouse.
Yep. There he's also got Mabuane on his screen there. Yeah,
come on, RadoX.
The screen is getting closer.
Yeah. In the meantime,
don't know if RadoX is.
Yeah. In the meantime, Hugo's just taking his good time, pinpointing, trying to figure out exactly where this starting location is. Now, this is another one of those. Which road is actually the right road? Right? Is the map matching up to the actual reality here? It doesn't always in Botswana, so.
Spoilers, it's not. Like, I think all of the roads that are on the map are there in Street View, but there are more roads in Street View than there are on the map.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So while you can be like, yeah, the roads that are on the map are definitely there, you can't know for sure which of them are which. At the end there, I was pretty confident that I was between like the road Hugo's currently on and the road to the east of him. But where exactly is difficult to figure out when there's like two more roads between there that just aren't on the map.
Yep.
Brax has finally found. Oh, and he's gone away again. I was just about to say he's finally found it.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, no, he doesn't. At least not yet. He's got a minute and a half to go. Don't give up on him yet.
Hugo's in the right place though, so he's not making up any points.
There's a nice roundabout. That's a nice little sign. See if he can't use that. He won't be making up many points, but at least he won't fall further behind, hopefully.
You say that.
I say that. I got faith in RadoX. He was in Division 2 for a couple of seasons. But definitely looking like Botswana is not his cup of tea, for sure.
Yep. He's practiced a lot for it, actually, I know, which is why it's surprising to see some of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hugo definitely has practice, and he will get an ace. Well done in that pinpointing. The road's not the easiest thing to judge, but he does get it 12 meters off. And 40 seconds for RadoX to try to do something himself. Yeah, there's the game reserve.
There's not exactly many cities along this road either.
How I actually found this one was there's not too many cities, like you mentioned, and there are no roundabouts except for the town you're actually in, and there you go. There's the roundabout.
Just about.
So, yeah, I actually didn't see the sign that you mentioned that gave you the town name. I just got it from the fact that it's the only roundabout for miles around.
Yeah.
So, and a
you
really
can do,
sloppy last second pin, but 4,986 isn't too bad. He won't far further behind in round 2, Calamity.
yeah, you can do with the sign that just gives you the distances as well. That should be enough to give you the city, but obviously finding that sign that Hugo did find as well, that straight up tells you, okay, you're here, makes it a lot easier. You don't have to judge distances and try to find out which city you're in.
Yeah, so RadoX not to the best of starts in this one, as he will take his time to trying to figure out exactly what might have gone wrong here for him as he checks his maps. But we'll get into the next round here, round number 3, and a railroad crossing to the west will make pinpointing at least a little bit easier.
Yeah, you love to see it.
Yeah, gotta love train tracks. Especially
Also,
someone who plays Japan a lot. Train stations and train tracks are really helpful. And even more helpful, some nice little signs here.
None of them particularly helpful so far.
Well, not yet. A batch of them. Maybe one of them might turn in something, but these players not catching anything that they fancy. That one will do nicely.
Yep.
Francistown. Very large town in the eastern part of the country. And actual road names, so...
Yeah, technically you've got, as Hugo also sees it, signs in Francistown, you've got all the information you need with the train tracks there.
Yep. Train tracks only go that direction in one part of town.
There's actually like 2 roads that might be it. You can see it there on RadoX. He's currently looking at the wrong one that, you know, for like a little bit looks like it could be the right one. But yeah, this... RadoX, where are you going? That's not where the train tracks are.
I think he might have forgotten a bit about him.
Possible,
but in the meantime, it looks like Hugo has not. Trying to find those road names he's found, but he's also a little bit baffled by them. There we go. And those point of interest will also help him. He's still got 2 minutes to go, and he's already close enough for maybe a 4-8, 4-9. So again, RadoX looking to not fall further behind in round 3. Not going to be gaining much ground here.
Yeah, Hugo, I think, is just checking if there really is no other place where the roads match up with the train tracks, but there isn't.
Yeah. Not only that, but some pretty big points of interest, if he actually takes a good hard look at the location he's picked, will confirm it for him.
Yep.
It's always a good thing, right? Sorry.
There's a POI that says Mama's detergent. Don't know what it is, but...
And RadoX has got the wrong road again, but it's getting better.
Yep.
It's got another minute to get a whole lot more better. That's really bad English, but you know what I mean.
Laugh to get better. If you want any points from this week.
Exactly. Hugo might be happy with it for sure, though. He's not really even confident in his location with under a minute to go, and he will move away from the correct location. Calamity. Oh boy.
Don't know why he's done that.
Yeah, like right there, there's a huge sign. You can see the cow even. Meat Commission.
Yep.
And it's right there on his screen, and he's like, nah, you know, I'm a vegetarian. I don't do meat.
It's also the fact that the road that he's put his pin at is about like 200 meters straight, and then it just turns, and the road he's on definitely doesn't do that.
I mean, they got now under 20 seconds to go. But let's see if he'll move his pin back to the correct location, and RadoX again will hone in on something that's not quite right. Maybe he's got a calibration error or something. Needs to adjust a little bit. I think he's just forgot about the railroad entirely as time will run out.
But he checked it again.
Well, at least Hugo will be kicking himself a little bit, moved away from the correct location, but only drops 50 points there, 4,950. And yeah, RadoX 4903, so not great, but again, didn't fall significantly further behind. His real gap only coming still from round number 1.
This was kind of like a tutorial on how to not pinpoint.
Mm.
Hugo was in the right place, and then for some reason, I'd really like to know why, I decided, nope, not going there, going somewhere else that clearly didn't fit. RadoX just ignoring the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Then after like 2 minutes, he went and saw the train tracks again, and then he started ignoring them again. I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, somebody get that man a cup of coffee. He definitely needs something to wake him up for that. But yeah, there's also the thing with that Hugo kind of dropped the ball on was going back and forth between the map and the street view, right? Okay, I think I'm here. If I am here, I should see this point of interest, or I should see this shape. Can I find it? Yes, I can. That kind of feedback loop helps you kind of hone in on your location. And he just didn't do that. He's like, well, this looks about right. He didn't shake anything around him to confirm that. And then lost confidence in the location.
Yeah, generally,
Generally,
the first thing you want to do with that is you want to check, okay, is the road direction right?
Got it.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
Then when you've confirmed, okay, the road direction looks about right, then you got to look at street names. Got to look at, okay, did the street names match up? And you can never forget, just because the street on Google Maps doesn't have a name, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have a name in real life. That is especially true for African countries. And then the third step that you can sometimes, replace with step 2 or switch them up a bit is checking, as you said, for POIs.
Yeah.
Checking like, okay, there's this big building that has a name on it. Do I find that big building on the map? And Hugo kind of did none of that, I guess.
But he remembered the train tracks, and that was about the only thing that got him those 50 points over RadoX was the train tracks for that one. Well, let's see if it gets any better here in round number 4. And a bit of water to the north, but that's about it. But for a change, RadoX seems to remember this one. That practice coming into play here, Calamity.
There's not a lot of places in Botswana that have a river to the north. Be more precise, there is exactly one.
There's one dirt road that follows it. Mm-hmm. And so he's gonna, at least not far further behind. He's already got the general location. And it doesn't appear, at least so far, that Hugo has taken that into account. Sometimes players do know something. They don't jump straight to the map because they already know it. They are looking for more valuable information. But, yep, it looks like Hugo does recognize we are in the far north. And just trying to find a little bit something else to go along with that. But again, RadoX with a really confusing guess puts us in the middle of a town. So, okay.
Why not?
I know African towns are not dense, but they tend to be a little bit denser than this. So,
yeah,
he's a little hopeful. But it will save him from getting no points, that's for sure.
I've just checked. There is one more river in all of Botswana. That isn't this river.
Like major river? I'm sure there's small.
No, river.
No? Okay.
I'm sure there might be some small ones somewhere, but they're not on the map.
I see. So there's only 2 rivers in all of Botswana you got to worry about. And we are on the border one with, was it Zambia?
That is the border with Namibia, actually.
It started with a Z. Maybe not.
No, Namibia doesn't start with a Z.
Well, I know.
You gotta look at the right border, though.
I guess that's true. I studied Botswana a lot. I did not study the other countries next to it. As I was practicing. Hugo's got a little bit of a better read on this location. I think RadoX's pin is still in town. minute and 20 to go.
In the meantime, I just found one more river.
There we go. It's slowly adding up here.
Yeah, the one that goes through Francistown, but it's in the street view coverage is pretty much dried up through most of it.
Yeah, you're not going to see something like this. And then there's also not just the fact that it's a river, but it's that dirt road running parallel along the river that is going to be a quite unique feature.
Hmm.
For sure. Yeah, Hugo trying to make sure he gets that directionality right. It is sort of northwest. So that looks a bit good. Then
Just a bit there.
Please don't decide to look for other rivers with 30 seconds left.
Not that he'd find any.
Yeah, exactly. As we found out, it takes Calamity a couple minutes to find them himself. And yeah, RadoX just running off, has moved his pin out of town, thankfully. But road direction, now the issue.
He's moved it pretty close to town again.
Yeah. And we're down to the final 10 seconds or so for them. Please check road direction.
West-east. Definitely not where he's placed his pin.
Yeah.
Kind of better in terms of guessing somewhere that makes sense. Further away, of course. But
further away. And yeah, Hugo not quite on it either, but again, just edging out RadoX 4,687 for him. 4450 for Calamity. I know you talk about how more time doesn't help you, but this really felt like more time should have helped them. The fact that you're by the river was really obvious, and you get it within, I think both of them had it within 20 seconds, but then it felt like, another 3.5 minutes of where am I?
I feel like
missing a lot of the geographic clues that they could have used.
Yeah, something that's very important in Geoguessr when you start getting more into it and start getting better at it is that you need to know, pretty much no matter what location you're in, you need to have a strategy on how to figure out how to pinpoint.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the strategy would have been kind of, okay, look at the road direction, which way does it turn, where's some curves, where's maybe some roads going off of it, even if, it's sometimes difficult to tell whether they're really there or not. Maybe even one possible strategy is just, if you know you're like west of Kasana there somewhere, just try going as far east as you can. And then eventually you'll see, okay, I've gone east for 4 minutes. I've traveled really far. I've still not seen any town. So we probably have to be a lot further west than RadoX put his pin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we kind of just saw there two people who kind of knew the area, but neither of them really had any plan on how to get any closer to the right location. I think they were both just hoping for some sign that would automatically give them the answer, but there was no such sign.
Yeah, there were a few lodges and whatnot in the area, but again, too far away. The one thing we can mention, and I've left it up here for you all, is that in Hugo's on screen, you can see to the west of him, there's a really weird kind of X intersection, and he did hit that. And it was a really kind of weird knot of roads. And if he would have been like, okay, well, here's this really funky intersection. Do I see that anywhere along the river? And then try to use that. That might have helped him here, but unfortunately, getting caught up a bit on trying to use road direction, yes, but that it's going to be a little bit rough in a place like this. So a bit unfortunate for them. But hey, it's not about how well you do, Calamity. It's about whether or not you beat your opponent. And so far, Hugo is kind of crushing it in that regard, at least. As we get set up here for the final round, and actually they take a long interval in between here, both of them trying to figure out what might have gone wrong in that location as I try to figure out where they are. There we go, and we'll get into round number 5. And Calamity Urban.
Yeah. This is not the round where you lose 1,000 points.
Nope. Not a round that most people lose 1,000 points, but RadoX will be hoping and praying that it is. You never know.
Where illness and troubles are cured.
But it looks like Hugo's already pretty much got this down that, we're in Francistown again.
I think he's working with the style of the road signs there.
Yeah, definitely.
Might be something he's figured out from practice. Might just be something he remembers from the earlier round that was in Francistown, where he just now realized, okay, the signs look the same. Got to place it there for now.
And now he's got confirmation for sure. Landfill site. And RadoX knows the town as well, so I think it's safe to say that 1,000 points is not going to be dropped here, and Hugo will be looking at a very happy win. That'll definitely give him a big boost, Calamity, to staying up this season. While the slide continues for RadoX.
Yeah, it's going to be his third loss in a row. It's not a good sign. But yeah, we did have two countries back to back that are relatively pinpoint heavy. But yeah, I want to say, okay, now we're done with those, but we've still got Saskatchewan and Singapore, so there's going to be some more of that for RadoX.
Yeah, if he knows he's not going to be doing too well in the pinpointing game, definitely looking to pick up vital points next week when we do go to a world map. So that'll be a must win for him as we get down to under 2 minutes here. Again, Hugo getting the general area, but then kind of floundering. He's had a couple road names, and he hasn't really looked for those road names anywhere.
Yeah. Kind of now just looking at road direction. And I mean, to be fair, there aren't many roads in Botswana, in Francistown that have that road direction if you assume that you're at a relatively large road. But there's still more than one, so
yeah, and actually he just looks at the right area and then keeps on moving, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, now he's starting to pay attention to those road names, but it's kind of a little bit late. He's only got about a minute left. And yeah, a couple road names for RadoX as well, but yet to jump to this map. As I say that, of course he does. I think the best sign they had was the dump site, which actually had the road name right there on it. So you knew you were right there. That's the one that Hugo's looking at. Road that goes north off of it curves a bit. Yeah, again, the practice shows in the sense that they get the right area, they get the right town down relatively quickly. Actually, I'm quite impressed with how quickly they got it. But then that pinpoint game, just a bit lacking in this game. So if anything, we've got a good tutorial on not what to do. So you Division 4 and 5 players definitely take notice. Anybody else wanting to get into this? A good tutorial. And there we go.
Oh, Hugo's found it.
With finally. No time left, and he'll get himself not an ace, but 4,995 will be a very nice close. And yeah, RadoX in the right town again, but 4,937 for him. And that'll be a win for Hugo, Calamity. Well, a bit of a rough one, but again, it's a 1v1 matchup. It's all about, you know, getting those points, beating your opponent. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, and he managed to do that today. And he'll definitely be happy about his first real win of the season. And maybe with that, he can pick up some momentum and go and get himself out of that relegation fight.
Yeah, and so let's take a look at the final scores. 23,373 for RadoX and 24,626 for Hugo. So not only a win, but a very nice score. Over 24-5 in Botswana. Not the easiest thing to do. Congrats to Hugo. And thank you all for watching as well. I hope you enjoyed this little, maybe more of a tutorial video than an actual casting matchup for you here. But we got a lot more Botswana to come, so hopefully you can check out the country for yourself and enjoy the ride as we take a look at this very beautiful but interesting country to play in Geoguessr. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Bye.